How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Mojo Grip. Mike here. Man, how long has it been? 7 years for me now since I got my pilot's license, and a lot of you came with me on that journey. And I've probably received 1,000, maybe 5,000 emails over the years of a lot of people who watch the videos on Mojo Grip, and they let me know like, hey, I've always wanted to get my license. I'm leaving vicariously through you. And this feels like it's all circling back, because from today on, it's a matter of being about it and not just talking about it anymore. So starting today, we now have a flight trainer. Okay, this aircraft you see me resting on right now, we are using it for our flight program, where if you needed to get your license or you need to get an additional rating to your license, you can now come to our shop in Winston-Salem in North Carolina and get your training done. Now, this is not going to be like the typical flight school, because my partners and I, and just about everybody you'll meet in this shop, including our CFI, we've all been through the gauntlet of flight training, and there's a lot that we've learned even through our own personal experience. And with that, we've created a new program that we believe is going to be a lot more efficient for new students and or pilots who go through our program. So here's a few things you should understand, whether you're experienced going through flight training or not. First thing is the airplane. This is a fairly new, just pretty much brand new modern airplane. It's a two-seater. Generally, if you're going through your local flight schools, you may be flying a Cessna, Piper. These are the general make and models, but they're much older, and a lot of them also have steam gauges. God forbid you have a glass panel in any of those planes, they're going to charge you an arm and a leg. I can tell you right now, in places like Atlanta, Georgia, just to rent a 50-year-old Cessna 172, you're looking at $195 an hour just for the airplane. And then you tack on another $60 to $70 an hour for your flight instructor, and now you're looking at $250 to $80 per hour to rent an airplane and go train. So those are some of the things that we looked at, and we could have went the same route and gotten older airplanes, but we all fly fairly modern planes, and it only makes sense to start a program with one of those. And so first thing is that this airplane is modern. It comes equipped with a glass panel, a Garmin G3X Touch. You've got a G5 in there, which is for backup. And for those instrument students or pilot, you have a GTN 650. I just got my instrument rating done, and I'm very excited. But guess what? I trained in one of these. A good bit of my training was actually in this very airplane, and it was perfect. In a training environment, these types of planes, they're smaller, they're slower, in climb, in performance, but once you get to cruise, they cruise about 120 knots. But in a training environment, they're perfect, because one thing perhaps that you may not realize is when you're just starting out on your journey as a student, you have to be ahead of the airplane, okay? But if you're flying your standard entry plane or something that's a bit on the faster end, it makes it more challenging. Now, obviously over time, you get used to flying more, but in the beginning, you want to have an airplane that's slow enough for you to catch up, for you to be ahead of it, and a light sport aircraft will do just that for you. So with the modern avionics in this airplane, you're able to train from zero all the way to commercial. That's right. Whether you're a private pilot, sport pilot, or you need to get your instrument, you can do all of it in this very airplane because of the technology in there. So if you're starting out from zero, or you want to get a sport pilot license or a private pilot license, or you want to go all the way to the airlines or get your CFI, CFII, you can be trained in this very aircraft. Another thing you should consider during flight training, if you haven't been through it before, is your time commitment, but more so how that can affect your entire training. Again, I've been through this several years ago, and what I realized, and this is more common than you think, is in a flight school environment, generally you would have a fleet of airplanes, and you typically would have just a single airplane that's cheap enough that everybody wants to fly. But the only problem is, because everybody wants to fly this one airplane, what you find is it's rarely available, and because it's getting flown too many times, oftentimes you would find it under maintenance, so nobody is flying it. I went through that. where I saw an airplane that was, oh, this is the cheapest out of the fleet, so I'm going to go ahead and book it. But that said, what we want to do with our flight program is set a cap, okay? To avoid any of that where everyone is trying to book a single airplane at the same time, we're going to set a cap to how many hours can be booked per airplane. Now, given this is our very first, we do have another airplane that's coming in another 2 to 3 weeks, same Sling NGT. So that way we're not overflying a single airplane and making it difficult for students and pilots to be able to book the airplane. So with this very first airplane, we're going to set a cap. Not everyone will be able to book it. Once we get to a time limit or hour limit, then this airplane is off the books. And then another one comes in and you have access to that. And the reason why we're doing this is because, again, we've been a student before and we understand how time efficiency can actually save you a lot of money in the long run. Now, speaking of money, let me tell you how much it's going to cost to fly one of these with us. We have a flat rate of $210 an hour, and that's both for the airplane and your flight instructor, okay? $210, no more, no less. We understand that gas prices have been going up, and one of the benefits of flying a modern light sport is also the fact that you're burning a fraction of the fuel per hour. This aircraft burns about 4 gallons an hour in a training environment, and so that savings actually is extended to you as the student. So we're not overcharging or trying to make up an additional fee for fuel costs or whatever the case may be. And again, we're only charging a flat rate both for the airplane and for the flight instructions, and that's $210 per hour. And with that said, you can choose to book this as you fly, pay as you go, or you can book by block. But understand that nothing will be pushed on you. It's whatever works for your schedule and for your pocket. All options are available to you. So if you're close in the Winston-Salem area in North Carolina, give us a call or shoot us an email. As a matter of fact, I'm also going to drop some links in the description below. That's another way to get in contact with us. Ask as many questions as you want. We'll be happy to answer for you. Also, if you are out of state or say you're hundreds of miles away from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, we've already thought ahead of that, and we can possibly provide some accommodation for you, again, depending on your time and schedule for your training. So please reach out and also drop your questions in the comments below. I'll be waiting to see y'all.